The residents of Republic are waking up to a landscape of shattered glass and dented metal today, following a historic severe weather event that unleashed monster hail across the Ozarks on Tuesday, April 28, 2026. The storm, which meteorologists are calling a once-in-a-generation event for the region, has left thousands of homes damaged and the local automotive industry overwhelmed. The day began with an eerie stillness and a rapidly rising humidity that local weather enthusiasts recognized as the perfect fuel for supercell development. By 10:30 a.m., the National Weather Service, NWS, in Springfield issued a tornado watch. But the primary threat soon shifted from rotation to extreme precipitation. At approximately 11 a.m., the sky over Republic turned a deep, bruised shade of green. What followed was 5 minutes of terrifying intensity. Witnesses described the sound as a freight train loaded with gravel, as hailstones ranging from the size of golf balls to baseballs, and in some extreme cases, softballs, pelted the city. "I've lived in Missouri for 60 years, and I've never seen anything like this," said Marcus Thorne, a local shop owner on Main Street. It wasn't just the size, it was the velocity. The ice was coming down so hard it was punching holes straight through vinyl siding and shattering double-paned windows like they were nothing. The devastation is most visible in the parking lots of major retail centers. At the Republic Walmart, dozens of shoppers returned to their vehicles to find windshields completely caved in and bodywork riddled with deep craters. Residential impacts. Over 4,500 homes in the Republic area have reported roof damage, shattered skylights, or broken windows. Local insurance adjusters estimate that more than 8,000 vehicles in the Republic-Springfield corridor sustained significant hail damage. At the height of the storm, Liberty Utilities and City Utilities reported that over 10,000 customers were without power due to downed lines and transformers struck by heavy ice. In the true spirit of the Ozarks, the community immediate began the process of cleaning up. Neighbors were seen helping each other cover broken windows with plywood and taping plastic over shattered car windshields before the next round of rain could arrive. Republic City Mayor issued a statement Tuesday evening praising the first responders. "Our police and fire departments were out in the thick of it, ensuring that motorists were safe and checking on our elderly residents. While the property damage is staggering, we are incredibly grateful that there have been no reported fatalities. The economic impact of the storm is expected to be felt for months. Local auto body shops and roofing contractors are already reporting backlogs. Our phones haven't stopped ringing for 6 hours," said Sarah Miller, manager of an Ozark-based glass repair shop. "If you need a new windshield in Republic today, you might be looking at a 3-week wait." Insurance companies have begun setting up catastrophe centers, CAT sites, in large parking lots across Greene County to streamline the claims process. Residents are urged to document all damage with photos before making any temporary repairs, and to be wary of storm chasers, unlicensed contractors who flock to disaster areas to perform substandard work. While the immediate threat has passed, the NWS warns that the atmospheric setup remains volatile for the remainder of the week. Residents are encouraged to keep their First Alert weather apps active and have a plan in place. For many in Republic, the sound of ice hitting the roof will be a source of anxiety for a long time to come. But for now, the focus remains on the Republic Strong mantra, as the community gathers its tools and begins the arduous task of rebuilding what the ice tore down. The community of Aurora is reeling after a devastating severe weather outbreak on Tuesday, April 28, 2026, which unleashed a barrage of massive hailstones across Lawrence County and the surrounding Ozarks region. The day began with multiple severe weather warnings as a powerful supercell system developed over southwest Missouri. By late morning, the sky over Aurora darkened significantly, taking on an ominous greenish hue that often precedes extreme hail. According to the Aurora Police Department, the storm hit with full force shortly before noon. Video footage released by local authorities captured the terrifying intensity of the monster hail, which sounded like heavy machinery falling from the sky. The hailstones in Aurora were officially reported to be between baseball and softball size, with some irregular stones measuring over 4 inches in diameter. The sheer size and velocity of the ice caused catastrophic damage to local infrastructure and private property. In residential neighborhoods, the impact was visceral. Thousands of vehicles in Aurora and nearby Republic sustained heavy damage. Reports indicate that windshields were not just cracked, but completely shattered, with massive dents covering hoods and roofs. Local auto body shops have already been flooded with calls, predicting a backlog of several months for repairs. Many homes suffered direct hits to skylights and windows. Vinyl siding on several houses was reported to be peppered with holes, while roofing contractors are bracing for a surge in claims due to compromised shingles and structural leaks. Farmers in the Lawrence County area are assessing the damage to early season crops, while utility crews worked through the night to restore power after the heavy ice and associated 70-mile-per-hour winds knocked out transformers. Local emergency management teams were quickly deployed to assist residents whose homes were no longer weather-tight. The priority was ensuring that everyone was safe and that we could get tarps over broken windows before the next line of rain moved in, said a spokesperson for Lawrence County Emergency Services. Despite the heavy property loss, there have been no reported human fatalities in Aurora, a fact that city officials attribute to the effective early warning systems provided by the NWS Springfield and local news outlets like KY3 First Alert Weather. As the sun rose over a town covered in leaves and shattered glass the next day, the focus shifted to insurance claims and reconstruction. Major insurance providers have set up mobile claims centers in the region to handle the unprecedented volume of inquiries. Glass shards flew everywhere as Eric Gockel waited out one of the worst hailstorms to hit Missouri. One of the softball-size hunks of ice that hit the Springfield area on Tuesday measured 4.75 inches, 12 centimeters. The hail killed an emu at the zoo, injured some drivers, knocked out power to thousands and damaged hundreds of vehicles and even some aircraft. I feel blessed that I came out unscathed. Gockel, whose windshield was battered as he waited in his car along the side of a highway for the storm to pass, said Wednesday. Severe spring weather is plaguing the South and Midwest, and emergency management officials said the hailstorm was Springfield's worst in history, although it falls short of a state record. Mark Birchfield, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Springfield, said that distinction goes to the 6-inch, 15-to-2-centimeter hail recorded in 2004 near the town of Maryville. It's very rare, he said of the Springfield storm. This was a supercell thunderstorm that was able to really have a lot of wind shear with it, and a lot of energy that allowed the hailstone to stay up aloft for a lot longer. At the Dickerson Park Zoo in Springfield, staff tried to move animals inside, including Adam, a 21-year-old female emu. But an emu's natural behavior is to lie down and take cover, spokesperson Joey Powell said in an email to the Associated Press. Adam died from head trauma, and Oscar, a 17-year-old type of flightless bird called a rhea, was injured by the hail but was receiving pain medication and doing well Wednesday morning, as the zoo remained closed. Some of the worst damage was recorded at the Springfield-Branson National Airport, about 5 miles, 8 kilometers, northwest of the city center. Dozens of flights were delayed or canceled, and hundreds of vehicles had windshields or sunroofs busted out, said Ren Luebbering, the airport public information officer. Some passengers had to be bussed around 100 miles, 160 kilometers, away to the airport in Bentonville, Arkansas, because rental cars were damaged. Luebbering said airport staff spent 3 hours covering the most badly damaged vehicles with donated tarps. We think we put 300 or 400 tarps out there on cars, Luebbering said. The airport warned online, expect damage to your vehicle. Nicolette Zangara, a spokesperson for the Springfield-Greene County Office of Emergency Management, said she had a bad feeling early on. You could just tell from what we were seeing on radar that the hail was growing in size, Zangara said. And then we started getting pictures from some of our neighboring counties, some of the hail that they were getting. And from that moment, we knew it was going to be a bad storm. She said a few people called 911 to report being injured when the hail smashed their windshield, but she didn't have exact numbers. She said the worst of the damage appears to be to vehicles. She said her car is so dented that it resembles the surface of a golf ball. It just seems like the last week of April is kind of cursed for our area, she said, noting the area was hit hard a year ago by spring storms. Ever since the hail hit, Gockel has been submitting insurance claims. The gutters on his house were blown to smithereens, and a crew is headed out to evaluate how his roof held up. He runs a pizza business, and a food truck was damaged, along with work trucks and his teen daughter's first car, which he bought her around a month ago. Gockel is used to storm warnings. Normally, he responds to them by standing on the front porch and watching, rather than taking cover. Rarely does anything crazy come to fruition, he said. This is the first time that I really feel like the actual event lived up to the warning. Meanwhile, in what meteorologists are calling a once-in-a-generation atmospheric event, the quiet community of Camp Wood was transformed into a chaotic disaster zone late Wednesday evening. A violent supercell thunderstorm, part of a volatile weather system sweeping across central Texas, unleashed a barrage of monster hail, with some stones measured at a staggering 5 inches in diameter, larger than a standard grapefruit. The event, which occurred on April 29, 2026, has left a trail of significant property damage, shattered windshields, and a community in shock as they begin the arduous process of recovery. The National Weather Service, NWS, had issued a severe thunderstorm watch earlier that afternoon, citing high atmospheric instability and significant wind shear. However, few were prepared for the sheer intensity of the storm that developed over the Edwards Plateau. According to meteorologists, an exceptionally strong updraft, a pillar of rapidly rising air, allowed ice pellets to circulate within the freezing upper layers of the storm for an extended period. Each trip through the moisture-rich clouds added layers of ice, eventually creating jagged, heavy projectiles that the air could no longer support. What we saw in Camp Wood was the perfect, albeit terrifying, alignment of meteorological factors, said a senior meteorologist. The updraft was powerful enough to keep a projectile weighing nearly a pound suspended until it reached terminal velocity. When it finally fell, it hit the ground with the force of a falling brick. For the residents of Camp Wood, the storm began not with rain, but with a series of deafening cracks that sounded like gunshots hitting the roof. It was surreal, says Maria Gonzalez, a local resident whose 2024 SUV was totaled within minutes. I looked out the window and saw white spheres the size of softballs bouncing off the lawn. Then I heard my skylight shatter. We grabbed the kids and hid in the interior hallway. It felt like the house was being attacked. Social media was quickly flooded with photos of residents holding massive chunks of ice next to common household objects for scale. One viral photo showed a hailstone in Camp Wood, measured at 5.2 inches, potentially rivaling historical records for the region. While no fatalities have been reported, the economic impact is expected to be staggering. Early estimates suggest millions of dollars in insured losses. Hundreds of homes reported breached roofs, shattered windows, and destroyed HVAC units. The impact of 5-inch hail is enough to punch clean holes through standard plywood decking and asphalt shingles. Local dealerships and private owners saw hundreds of vehicles decimated. Beyond simple dents, the hail was heavy enough to cave in roofs and completely blow out tempered glass windows. Local ranchers reported concerns for livestock. In the open fields surrounding Camp Wood, there were numerous reports of injured deer and devastated crops, particularly young plants that stood no chance against the icy onslaught. Texas is no stranger to hail. It consistently leads the United States in hail-related insurance claims. However, the frequency of giant hail, larger than 4 inches, appears to be on a localized upward trend. The 2016 San Antonio hailstorm, which caused over $1.4 billion in damage, remains the gold standard for destruction in the area. While Camp Wood is smaller and less densely populated, the physical size of the hail in this 2026 event actually surpassed much of what was seen during the 2016 disaster. the danger has not entirely passed. Meteorologists warn that the stalled cold front responsible for the Camp Wood monster hail remains in the vicinity. Residents of San Antonio, Uvalde, and Austin are urged to remain weather-aware through the weekend, as secondary rounds of storms could bring additional heavy rain and flooding. For now, the people of Camp Wood are left to pick up the pieces of a night where the sky literally fell, leaving behind a frozen reminder of nature's unpredictable power.